welcome back to another episode of Spark Gaming Essentials. I'm Janessa.
And I'm Julian. June is always a big month for games, with tons of new announcements and teasers fighting for attention during E3.
True, but let's not forget all the good stuff we're going to be getting in the near future, too. So here's a look at 4 games coming out this month that you don't want to miss.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is on its way to give JRPG fans more of what they wanted, which is to say, more Final Fantasy VII. The original version of the beloved JRPG released in 1997 on the PlayStation. This was back when PlayStations didn't have numbers behind them. The tale follows the mercenary Cloud Strife, a character with a name so apt he might as well have been called Gloomy McSad Backstory. He, his iconically impractical Buster Sword, and a gang of environmentalists want to take down a greedy power corporation. Seems simple, right? No, why would you think that? This is a JRPG. Of course it involves a one-winged super being that wants to end the world. The epic and imaginative plot has fans hooked even 24 years later, and a remake of the game released last year that simultaneously gave them new delights and left them wanting more. Hours of character development fleshed out everyone more deeply, even bit players. The combat was changed from turn-based to real-time action with plenty of strategic variety to keep it fresh, and of course, the graphical updates that came with adding numbers after PlayStation were astounding. But the remake made a whole game out of just the first act of the original. So if that wasn't enough to slake your thirst, then the Intergrade may hold you over until the second act arrives. A new number has been added to Sony's console, 5, so Square Enix has added enhanced textures and lighting, a photo mode, and the option to choose between sharper visuals or higher frame rates. There's also an all-new intermission starring the easily missed ninja from the original, Yuffie Kisaragi, which adds new combat and even more story to the enriched world. Fans of the original should definitely pick this up, and if they already purchased the PS4 version, they'll get the enhanced visuals for free, though they will have to buy Yuffie's new adventure separately. This is also another chance for newcomers to experience a touchstone JRPG when it's never been more approachable. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade comes to the PlayStation 5 on June 10th.
Our next game releases exactly 1 year from when it was first announced, which is a gaming feat in itself, and that's Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Join your old pals Ratchet & Clank as they gear up once again to face the nefarious Dr. Nefarious in a dimension-hopping platformer / third-person shooter. In this installment, Dr. Nefarious has stolen the Dimensionator and traveled to a reality where he always wins and is the emperor of his own city. However, in doing so, he broke the fabric of space-time and separated Ratchet from Clank. In fact, Clank has actually been taken by Rivet, a new playable character and female Lombax whose intentions and story are currently unknown. What I do know is that you can expect some fun strafing gunplay, new ways to traverse the world, and near instant dimension rift hopping. You can quite literally hop through portals to traverse the battlefield or take the entire fight and boss to a different dimension. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart was designed for the PS5, so it's going to highlight the power of that system and what a game can do when it embraces next gen. They've got ray tracing, 4K displays, HDR, 60 frames per second, and really fast loading from the PS5's SSD. And it's going to take advantage of that DualSense wireless controller for the in-game rumbles, explosions, and unique weapon responses. As a standalone adventure, this installment is a perfect entry point for new players, especially if you like other similar games like Jak and Daxter, Crash Bandicoot, or Spyro. I probably don't have to tell Ratchet & Clank fans that they should pick up the game because they've already got it pre-ordered. Pick up Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart on June 11th for PS5.
If you like heavy metal, anime, and punching, Guilty Gear Strive is the game for you. The 7th mainline entry in the Guilty Gear series of fighting games, this installment promises to conclude the long-running story arc of that man and sole bad guy. If you have no idea who those people are, or even why it's exciting, or which character is even the bad guy, and here's a hint, it's not the one you think, then you're far from alone. Guilty Gear's lore is rich and dense and has been revealed across games with multiple endings and mangas and even pachinko machines. You could spend hours watching explainer videos, so the developers Arc System Works have included a helpful chronology and relationship map to make it clear to new players exactly why they're fighting a vampire samurai in the White House. There's also tutorials for each of the 15 characters in the launch roster to help newcomers find the one that matches their playstyle. Experienced fighters have plenty to learn too, as Strive's added, removed, and tweaked mechanics make it much different from its predecessors. No matter what your experience or familiarity with the story, there's plenty to appreciate about Strive. An absolutely rocking metal soundtrack is back again, the fighters are distinct but still well balanced, and the anime-style characters might fool you into thinking they're hand-drawn until the camera angle shifts and you realize they're actually 3D models. The one thing that has die-hard fighting game fans most excited about Strive, though, is its use of rollback netcode. Timing and reactions are the difference between a flawless victory and your opponent using your hair as a mop, which is why online play with fighting games can be particularly frustrating, especially if your network is unstable or if you're playing someone in another part of the world. Strive's netcode compensates for the delay in a clever and unusual way that has even pro players impressed. If you're a fan of fighting games, particularly the visually similar Dragon Ball FighterZ, but are tired of lag spikes messing with your input timing, check out Guilty Gear Strive when it launches for the PlayStation 5 and PS4 June 11th.
It's a well-kept secret of mine that I went to college to be a programmer. Yeah, I started out as a computer science major, and then I quit because I was tired of staying up all night until the sun came up searching for a bug in my code. Well, now I stay up all night writing scripts for GameStop, but anyway, Nintendo is making it fun to learn programming basics with Game Builder Garage by using a technique called visual programming language. Instead of getting bogged down by the intricacies of memorizing a programming language, Nintendo has created characters called nodons to represent inputs, outputs, and game logic. And of course, this is Nintendo we're talking about, so all of the nodons have their own personalities and reasons why they do specific things. Game Builder Garage includes guided lessons that will help you build 7 different games. Now, this is just to get you started and teach you the ropes, as there is a free programming mode where you can let your creativity loose and your imagination run wild, creating whatever types of games you'd like. Then you can share your levels with your friends and upload them online, as well as play other people's creations. If your parents think that video games are a waste of time and you'll never learn anything productive, they need to buy you this game. If you want to learn some programming concepts before diving into languages, I think you should check out Game Builder Garage. This will also be a good pickup for someone who enjoys other creative game designers like Mario Maker, Dreams, and maybe even Roblox. Game Builder Garage releases on June 11th exclusively on Nintendo Switch.
And that's the end of this episode of Spark Gaming Essentials.
As always, if you'd like to watch more of the show, check out our playlist at youtube.com/GameStop. I'm Janessa.
And I'm Julian. Until next time.